Hey fellow gamers, it's me, Mario. This is the second installment of the What Makes You Good at Board Games, Euro Games, small sub-series. Today we're going to talk about experience. Playing a lot goes a long way. This is the part that was the longest when I tried to make a single video and that didn't work too well. So today I hope I will be able to stay into 10 minutes because I would try to go fast. Let's just say that because it's a pretty long topic, I would say. So, why experience is that important for you? Well, first thing, quick assessments. Glancing the board. By playing a lot and having a lot of experience in a game, you can just take a look at the board and at the player's board and the asymmetry that's into the game. And you can already, like your brain is already working in the background, coming up with strategies with what's good and what's not good, with what the other players' starting moves are going to be, and things like that. This is really important because again, it's quick. It's something that you make at the start of the game, glancing the board, and it's something that you make a lot during the game, adjusting your mental shape of the game depending on what the other players' moves are. So glancing the board is something that's amazingly important because it speeds up your game a lot and it comes very easy to you if you have a lot of experience in a game. Then what really matters and what's contested? Like again, in every Euro game there are a lot of moving parts, but not all of them are equally important. Let's just say in Great Western Trail, the two most important parts at the beginning are like buildings and workers. I mean, there are a lot of important things, but these two are by far the most important ones. And you already know that you have to look at them. It is something that comes with experience. And what's contested? Again, talking about Great Western Trail, the spots on the path that are the best ones to build upon, what strategies might work out because of the position of the neutral buildings. Or in Barrage, you already know that you have to fight for the spots for the dams. Or in Boon Lake, you already know that you want a very strong space on the board to occupy. Or maybe you have a really strong card that you want to get out ASAP. Or maybe you have a good strategy that you want to get. So what really matters and what's contested is very important. I'm going to make a video on what's contested because I think it's a very big part in Eurogames. But this is something that comes with experience. And the last point is it frees brain capacity for other tasks. This is again, remember when I told that the brain is working in the background? That's because the active brain, the brain that you're using, is focusing on other stuff because it doesn't have to be busy doing some maintenance, doing some assessments actively. It just makes a lot of passive assessments, and then you can focus on the really important stuff. This is again something that it's really apparent when you're playing against somebody who played like 50 or 100 times a game. Like when I play Boon Lake right now, my turns are like 1 minute long, I think, or something like that, because I know all the important stuff and I can just focus on the big decision points during the game. So, quick assessments. That's the first part. Then combos and traps. It's another like easy points, but you already know good assets combos. Again, in Barrage, there are some combination at the start that are very strong. Like you can get an external work tile to immediately get an advanced tile on your wheel, and you're also going to get basically 9 coins out of it because you save 5 coins plus you get 4. Or there are other good moves that are going to fulfill contracts for free and get a mech. In Great Western Trail, it used to be the 10B 8B combo, which was something very important, and also the 2A 4B combination for cowboys, which is pretty good. Or just set combos during the game. Like right now in the second edition of Great Western Trail, when you get the copy building, you know if you're going for builders, you know that you should position your 10 A or B building of choice so that it's not naked, so that it's not easy to copy for the other players. Traps, it's the same. In Great Western Trail, you know that you shouldn't get a hazard on your first few moves. So if you stop on neutral building F, you should just get 4 coins discarding 2 matching cows. You shouldn't get a hazard. This is a trap. In Barrage, there is a spot on the map that's by far the worst. You shouldn't go for that unless you have a plan to just unlock income. There are a lot of traps in many games, and being experienced in a game makes it so that it's fast to recognize these traps and to avoid them. You can also actually cobble up a plan to make your opponents fall in some traps if they are not as experienced as you. So knowing combos and traps is very important. And also corner cases and weird situations. Again, this can happen a lot in Great Western Trail, like when you take some steps back on the rails and you can stop in a station that, well, there's a station master tile, or how many steps you have to take back with the 9A or B building, the one that will let you get an extra delivery by getting back 18 or 16 or 14 steps, depending on which city you want to do the extra delivery in. Um, so you know all the weird stuff that can happen in a game that sometimes are really annoying for intermediate players because they've never encountered them. So they may fall prey of it. It's less of a problem in real life because depending on the kind of action, I will allow setbacks to players. It depends, of course. If it was like 2 turns ago or something like that, that probably won't be allowed. But most of the time, you can take a step back and do your action again. But online, it's going to be pretty important because you cannot undo stuff after you've closed up your turn. So, corner cases and weird situation, of course, pretty important to have some experience in a game. Then the flow of the game. So you know the general shape of the game, which is very important to do the early, the mid, and the late game. So common good openings. Again, in every game on BGG, it's pretty common to see many discussions about openings. Less so in Great Western Trail, even though for the builder there are some discussions about openers. In Barrage, it's way more common to find discussion for openers. In Terra Mystica, there are a lot of discussion on openings. I think the more experience you get, the more you know the good openings that work, and also the more you know about the niche ones that can work once in a blue moon, and you know when to use them. So experience is an amazing and important factor in knowing good openings. Again, you can know the starting one pretty easily after like 10 or 20 games, but to really know the details, you have to play a lot. So the overall pace of the game, again, you know if you're already in the mid game, you know what's important in each phase of the game. This is incredibly important in games where the speed of the game is determined by players, like again, Great Western Trail, Boon Lake, Maracaibo, but right now, again, Cryo, Viscounts of the West Kingdom. It's pretty important. Also in Barrage or in Terra Mystica or in other games, it's good to know when to shift to points. So when you should stop doing some economy and when you should go more for points. So you know the general shape of the game, so you know how to use it in your favor. So you know what's good in each phase of the game because you can recognize each phase of the game. Of course, it's not always clean and cut. That's the interesting part after all, even after you play the game like 100 or 200 times. But you, of course, will have a big leg upon your opponents. And positioning in the late game. Ooh, I'm being fast. I like it. Positioning in the late game is important because a lot of the times you see good players that are like good Euro players all around. They made good moves at the beginning because maybe they were able to study some openings on BGG, or maybe they just played a lot and a lot less than you, but still a lot, and they know a lot about openings. But the last part of the game is as important as the first one. So how to convert your last few actions into points, it's not always trivial. It's a big question, and you should know way more if you played a lot. Again, also positioning the late game means knowing when the game is going to end, if the end of the game is triggered by players. So you can adjust to it. A lot of the time, newer players, or again, intermediate players, are coked with their pants down, if that's an English expression, because they didn't prepare in time for the end of the game that was coming. If you're experienced enough, you will know how the game will flow and how to position yourself in the late game. All right, still under 10 minutes. Pretty happy about that. Hopefully this video was good for you. It was by far the most interesting one in the how to what makes you good at games, I think. But we'll see if the next one will be even better. See you next time. Bye bye. Mara's out.